Have you ever had a moment where the world around you goes completely silent, like the air's been sucked out of the room, and all you can hear is the rush of your own blood in your ears? That's what it felt like when I saw it. The ring, my ring, the one she told me had been stolen, hanging on a chain around another man's neck on his Instagram story. A story I wasn't even supposed to see, but did, thanks to the messy way social media webs itself through friends of friends. That image, the gold catching the light, the stupid grin on his face, her initials engraved on the inside, burned into my eyes, and in that instant, every single excuse, every accusation that I was overreacting, every tear she'd shed when she swore she'd lost it, they all crumbled. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me rewind, because if I just tell you about that picture, you won't understand the weight of it, the gravity of how many layers of lies had to pile up before I got there. The ring wasn't just jewelry. It wasn't some random piece she picked up at a store. It was the ring I gave her on our anniversary, our 5th. I spent months saving for it, months planning the surprise. It wasn't flashy, not by celebrity standards, but it was meaningful, classic, elegant, with a small engraving on the inside, yours always. I'd never seen her cry the way she did when I slid it onto her finger. She swore she'd never take it off. She swore it meant everything. So when, a year later, she came home frantic saying she'd lost it, my heart sank. She spun a whole story, how she'd been at the gym, how she'd taken it off to shower, and when she came back it was gone. Someone must have stolen it, she cried, pacing the living room, hands trembling like she was genuinely devastated. I believed her. Of course I did. Why wouldn't I? Who lies about something like that? I tried to comfort her, told her it was just a ring, told her we could replace it. But inside, I was crushed. Not at the cost of the thing, but at the idea that this symbol of us was out there, gone, maybe sitting in some pawn shop window, stripped of its meaning. The weeks that followed were heavy. She walked around like she was mourning, kept her hand tucked in her pocket when people asked where the ring was. Whenever I'd bring it up, she'd tear up again, and I'd drop it, not wanting to push. She even went so far as to post about it online, a sad little story about how devastated she was to have lost something irreplaceable. People messaged her with sympathy. Friends commented with little broken heart emojis. And I just sat there thinking, God, she loved that ring. I can't believe it's gone. And then came the day it all flipped. I wasn't even looking for anything. I was scrolling absent-mindedly, half watching TV, half checking my phone. A friend had reposted a story from some guy I didn't know. I clicked through, not paying attention, until the camera flipped and there it was. Him, shirtless, cocky grin, showing off at a bar, and hanging around his neck, gleaming against his chest, was the ring. Her ring, my ring. I knew it instantly. The engraving caught in the flash of the camera, just enough for me to read the curve of the letters. For a second I thought I was hallucinating. My brain refused to process it. I replayed the story 3-4 times, hands shaking so badly I nearly dropped the phone. There was no denying it. The same ring she swore had been stolen, the same ring she'd cried over, was sitting proudly on a chain around another man's neck. Not just any man either. Him, the one I'd suspected for months but never had proof about. The one she swore was just a friend. My chest burned, my ears roared, and then the strangest thing happened. I laughed. I sat there in my living room, laughing like a lunatic, because the audacity of it was so ridiculous it broke something in me. She hadn't just cheated, she'd handed him the very symbol of our marriage, the piece that was supposed to be ours alone, and let him flaunt it online like a trophy. I didn't confront her right away. I wanted to. God, did I want to storm into the bedroom, shove the phone in her face and watch the lies collapse in real time. But I didn't. I waited. I watched. Because if she could lie that easily, I needed more than one piece of proof. I needed the whole picture. So I started digging. Quietly. Carefully. I kept my cool around her, even kissed her goodnight, all while going deeper into the rabbit hole. And what I found made the ring look like the tip of an iceberg. Messages, hidden apps, late-night calls logged under fake names. A second world she was living in. One where I was the background character, and he was the star. And that ring, it wasn't stolen. It was gifted, handed over like a token, a promise, maybe even a joke at my expense. The betrayal wasn't just in the act, it was in the performance. Every tear she shed when she lost it, every sad post, every night she curled up next to me like she was grieving, it was all theatre, and I had been the idiot in the audience, clapping for the show. But the story didn't end there, because once I had the proof, once I pieced it all together, the question wasn't if I'd confront her, it was how. And let me tell you, the way it unfolded was messier, louder, and more revealing than I could have ever planned. That's where part 2 begins. The confrontation, the fallout, the way her lies unraveled in front of everyone, and how a single Instagram story ended up blowing her entire world apart. The night I confronted her, I didn't go in guns blazing. I'd rehearsed that scene in my head 100 times, storming in, shouting, throwing the screenshot in her face. But when it actually came time, I felt calm. like the anger had frozen into something sharper, something that wasn't going to burn me out, but cut clean through her lies. We were sitting in the living room, the TV murmuring in the background. She was scrolling on her phone, smirking at whatever she was reading. I watched her for a long moment, then said, "Funny thing happened today. I saw your ring." She looked up, blinking. "What ring?" "The one you said was stolen." I kept my voice level, steady. Her face twitched, just for a second, a tiny flash of panic before she covered it with that practiced frown. "I told you, it got stolen at the gym. Are we really going over this again? God, you're obsessed." I pulled out my phone, tapped, and mirrored the screenshot onto the TV. There it was. Her side dude, shirtless, grinning with the ring hanging from his chain. The initials gleamed under the light. I didn't say a word. I just let it hang there between us. Her mouth opened, then closed. She stuttered, "That's not," but the words fell apart. Because there was no excuse for this, no way to spin it. Finally she whispered, "I can explain." "Go on," I said, and she tried. Oh, did she try? First she claimed she'd lent it to a friend, some bizarre story about not wanting to wear it at the gym, so she gave it to someone to hold. Then when I didn't bite, she shifted, said the guy must have stolen it from her. When I pointed out he was flaunting it online like it was a gift, she broke down and went for the tears. Big heaving sobs, mascara streaking down her cheeks. But here's the thing. Once you've seen the performance, you can't unsee it. Every tear looked like theater, every sob like another line in a script she'd used before. I didn't shout, I didn't cry, I simply asked, "How long?" She buried her face in her hands, mumbling through her fingers. "A few months. It didn't mean anything." "Didn't mean anything," I repeated, my voice flat. "You gave him the ring that was supposed to symbolize everything, and you're telling me it didn't mean anything." The silence that followed was deafening. She knew she was caught. And worse, she knew I wasn't giving her the fight she wanted. I wasn't flailing, I wasn't raging, I was finished. The next day, I told her to leave. She begged, pleaded, promised therapy, swore she'd cut him off. She even tried to turn it back on me, accused me of spying, of snooping, of being obsessed with catching her. But I didn't care anymore. Because here's the truth. When someone hands over your love token to another man, they've already left you. The body might still be in your house, but the heart is long gone. The fallout was messy. Her family was furious. Not at me, but at her. They'd loved that ring, loved the story of our anniversary, and when I showed them the screenshot, they couldn't even look at her. Friends split. Some defended her, saying everyone makes mistakes. Others told me quietly they weren't surprised, that they'd seen the signs. And him, the side dude, his arrogance was his downfall. Once word got out, he doubled down, posting more pictures with the ring, bragging like it was some prize. But that arrogance turned on him. His own girlfriend, yeah, he had one, found out. She plastered their fight all over social media, tagging him, tagging her, dragging their names through the mud. In a twisted way, I didn't even have to destroy her. He did it for me. In the weeks that followed, I started breathing easier. I slept without waking up in a cold sweat, without wondering where she was or what she was doing. I cooked for myself, took long walks, reached out to old friends I'd lost touch with, and every time I glanced at my bare finger, I reminded myself, I didn't lose a ring. I lost an anchor that was dragging me under. She tried to come back. Of course she did. A month later, she showed up at my door crying, saying she'd made a mistake, that he wasn't who she thought he was, that she wanted another chance. I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt nothing. No anger, no longing, just emptiness. Because once someone disrespects you on that level, once they make you doubt your own sanity while parading your love token around another man's neck, there's no going back. I closed the door. People ask me now if I'd ever take her back, if there's ever a world where forgiveness would be possible. And I tell them the truth. Forgiveness isn't the issue. It's trust. You can forgive someone for betraying you, but you can never trust them with your heart again. And love without trust is just a prison. So when I think back on the night I saw that Instagram story, I don't think of it as the night my marriage ended. I think of it as the night I was set free. Because yes, she claimed the ring was stolen, but the only thing that was stolen was time, the years I wasted on someone who never deserved me in the first place.